school football season. Zach Dean, Chris Boyle live from the studios here at the News-Journal. It's I wouldn't say the immaculate studios. I wouldn't say the spectacular
some
studios.
Of our things, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a warehouse. We've rearranged some things, and here we are. Week number 4 upon us. Going to be a good one again, as I say every week. One of these weeks, I'm just going to say, you know what? It's going to be a terrible week.
I was thinking about our studio. I think hole in the wall is like a compliment.
Perfect.
It's a compliment.
It's kind of like Apollo 13, the capsule that they get stranded in for 3-4 days. That's what we're in right now.
All right.
Speaking of rocket ships, last week, DeLand took off like a rocket ship in the battle for the bone, left Deltona. This week, DeLand puts that undefeated record on the line, and probably the most important game of the year, the district opener against Mandarin.
Yeah, and this is the opener for district action across the entire state. It's going to be a really important game for DeLand to get off on the right foot. Mandarin, maybe a little bit of the record kind of lies for them. They're 1-2. Last week they were without their starting quarterback Carson Beck and their starting running back Terrell Jennings, so that obviously hurt in their matchup. DeLand's defense is going to be put to the test. Steve Allen said after their win against Deltona, he's expecting their quarterback can carve them up if they're not in technically sound positions. They played pretty well, I thought, against Deltona. In the secondary, Chris Brown in particular made a few plays, including an interception in that game. Offensively, it's been pretty much what you'd hope for DeLand so far. They've got Damaris Bellamy, Deontay Marks, Leon Roll. All those guys are rolling. I mean,
tough to be a bad offense with those 3 guys.
I mean, you look at Marks. He's caught 8 passes this year, and 5 have ended up in the end zone.
Fantasy dream. I could have used him last week in my fantasy league, which I got smoked in.
Yeah, you did. But he's been as good as you would hope. Bellamy's averaging close to 100 yards a game on the ground. He's been very tough on both sides of the ball. He had 2 more sacks last week. He's been everywhere for this team, and Roll has that composure, especially in some of the tight situations. You see him making a lot of 3rd down completions, some tough throws, and really put the game away with a couple of touchdown hookups to Marks last week.
The team they beat last week, Deltona, with their opener against New Smyrna Beach. What do we feel on this game? I feel like Deltona's been playing a little better than maybe we thought coming in. And New Smyrna, I don't want to say they haven't played as well, but I don't really know what we expected from New Smyrna. This game may tell us a lot.
Well, Deltona, I came away impressed with them last week. I thought they played hard. I thought DQ Mitchell, their receiver, was every bit as good as his stats indicate. He made a really great touchdown catch at the end of that game. That was one of the highlights of the week around Central Florida. They're tough. I mean, they will not budge. They are not going to be intimidated by anybody. They've played a lot of home games, and that's certainly helped. They'll be their 3rd in a row.
They're at home again this week?
They are.
Goodness gracious.
So New Smyrna, on the other hand, what we do know is that Enosh Carter is perhaps the most valuable player in the entire county. He had 5 touchdowns last week, 2 by interception return, 1 by a punt return, 2 on the ground. Really did everything for them. And you look at the talent. I mean, there's other players on this roster that are certainly capable, but everything really starts with number 6 for New Smyrna. Deltona's going to know that. They're going to try and take it away, and they've lived on turnovers in these previous matchups. So New Smyrna's number 1 priority has to be protecting the football and running it with Carter, opening up the holes and letting him go to work.
Protecting the football is something John Wilkinson's been very big on since day one. Other big game out in Flagler, FPC in St. Augustine. FPC, obviously humbled a little bit, but again, Travis Rowland, did admit the offense had their chances, just couldn't get it done in the red zone. Do we see that defense, maybe get a little pissed off, giving up 21 points this week?
Well, yeah, I think that score, I mean, it sort of lies. I think you mentioned the couple.
It was close.
You mentioned the failures in the red zone. I think they missed 2 field goals in that game too. So they came away with no points in situations where you'd normally expect them to score against a good Seminole team. And we mentioned last week a Seminole team that was also going to be angry.
And they were.
At their fact that they had lost to DeLand the week before. I expect the same kind of attitude, intensity, and refocused Flagler in Flagler this week. The only problem is that St. Augustine's going to feel the exact same way. St. Augustine has lost back-to-back regular season games the first time since 1998. That's the last time that program missed the playoffs. Were you
5 years old? How old were you in 1998?
In 1998, I was going to turn 10.
You're 5 years older than me?
I guess so.
Wow.
They've come off a losing streak for the first time in 20 years. They gave up 62 points 2 weeks ago to Menendez, and that was the most that the program had given up in 89 years. This is the 100th season of St. Augustine football. So you wonder, if the turnaround is going to happen, it's got to happen very soon for the Yellow Jackets, and Flagler really needs this game to kind of get back on track, and they get 2 weeks until their district opener, so this will be a good opportunity for them to get the momentum going in the right direction again.
Mainland and Pine Ridge. Mainland put the pitchforks away for 1 week. They have a win, and an impressive one at Treasure Coast. Yes, and they don't again this week.
Right, they still haven't played at home yet. I mean, I think, yeah, it's surprising to see Mainland ever go 0-2 to start a season, but at the same time, you look at who they've played. DeLand's beaten everybody on the schedule. Bob Jones is a very good team from Alabama. And they went down and got a great win last week. They played as well as you could hope that they would play. And you look at the couple of guys they relied upon, and DeAndre McMillan, who's got 9 touchdowns now.
He's had a freaking season already.
Yeah, he's among the front runners for Offensive Player of the Year out of the gate.
Stop! Don't tell them that yet. Don't handcuff us like that.
He is. I don't think it's really a secret at this point. And Cameron Lee had a great game for them as well. A couple interceptions, a couple of huge special teams returns to set them up with easy points. Those are the guys you really want to count on. And Andrew Plummer coming back was a huge factor as well. He caught the first touchdown of the game. Mainland's got the right pieces back.
Is that USF? Is that the thing they do?
That is.
That's it?
I don't do that.
I know, you're a UCF guy.
But Pine Ridge, again, they've struggled to score points. Only 1 touchdown all year. It's not going to get any easier for them this week.
No.
It's going to be a very uphill climb for the Panthers this week against Mainland, a team that seems to be going in the right direction.
Pine Ridge coming off a loss to Atlantic. An early kickoff, like a Saturday 3:30 CBS kickoff.
Yeah,
They're kicking off 4 o'clock in Pearson against Taylor. Quickly that game, and then also after that we have one more, and that's Creek Sandalwood.
Yeah, so let's talk about Atlantic. I mean, again, we mentioned last week everything was rolling for them. They kept it going. They beat Pine Ridge 22-0. Maximus Campbell and Aaron Manning, another touchdown hookup in that game. Manning was really good on the ground too. He ran for over 100 yards. Taylor is going to be, I think you're going to see a lot of dual threat action from them as well. Jaden Reeves is lined up at quarterback. It's an interesting situation with their field. There's plenty more to come on that on the News-Journal website.
Hey now,
read the paper.
There's a shameless plug.
Read the paper. It's going to be a good test, I think, for Atlantic. I mean, I think this might be the last game that they play without Ty Barong, and it'll be a solid game for them to show what they're all about again. If they can get to 3-0 before that bye week, that'll really help their case. And as for Spruce Creek, they face a really good Sandalwood team. This is their district opener as well. Sandalwood's averaging 421 yards of offense a game. Their running back, Kaiwan Herndon's averaging 9.9 yards per carry. They've got a Division I talent on both sides of the ball. For Creek, I mean, they got everything kind of going the right direction again. They needed that result against Matanzas to kind of get back in the groove. Marvin Scott didn't play last week. I think they hope he's ready to go this week. Deshari Keith has been really the best player for that team, I think, through 3 weeks. He has 3 picks, 1 for a touchdown last week. It's going to have to start on the back end for them. They're going to have to come down and play physical against this Sandalwood team, which is really, really big.
You're going to be in Deltona for the 2nd straight week at that Deltona New Smyrna showdown. I'm going to have you covered at the Spec with DeLand and Mandarin, Mustangs, and Bulldogs. Got the 2 mascots right this week.
Brett Borden's got Flagler, and our new correspondent, John Huger, will be taking the Mainland Pine Ridge game.
Correspondent. That makes us seem way too important, correspondent. Week 4 of the high school football season is upon us. Zach Dean, Chris Boyle, we'll see you Friday night.